Whether you're visiting Alpine Village for food, shopping, or fun with friends, be sure to stop by our restaurant to try out our selection of European domestic and craft beers. With me today is our resident beer expert, Todd Worley, and he's going to teach myself and a couple of my fellow O-girls a little bit more about beer, and especially about the German beers that are offered here at the Alpine Village restaurant. So I know you're really passionate about beer. I happen to be quite fond of beer myself, but other than the fact that I like it, I don't really know that much about it. So what could you teach me and everybody at home to make us more educated beer connoisseurs?
You should start at the beginning. Beer is one of mankind's oldest known beverages. It's a fairly simple process with only 4 ingredients in order to make your basic beers: water, malted grains, hops, and yeast. Most beers that you've had in your entire life either are ales or lagers. Originally, all beers were ales. People brewed it and they took what came to them. One of these times, when the brewers came back to collect the fruits of their reward, they discovered that the beer had continued to ferment. Not only did this beer taste a little different than beers they had brewed in the past, but it tasted delicious. This is how lagering was discovered.
Okay.
Lagering comes from the German word lagern, which means to store. As a general rule of thumb, ales tend to be darker, maltier, sweeter, whereas lagers tend to be dry, light, crisp, refreshing.
Okay.
There's many exceptions to this rule, but for a beginning beer drinker or somebody that's just learning about beer, it's a fantastic way to sort of tell the difference between the two.
So good to know, thank you. Now, as an O-girl, I really want to know more about German beers. So Germans are considered some of the best beer makers in the world, right? So why is that?
Well, in large part that's due to the centuries-old German law known as the Reinheitsgebot. It dealt with the sizes of beers that they could sell. It dealt with taxation and the maximum taxes that a brewer could charge. But the main thing that you're concerned about and I'm concerned about was its quality control measures.
Okay, so they're the experts.
Yes.
Well, me and the people at home want to be somewhat experts too. So I guess the first thing we need to learn is, how do you taste a beer properly?
Basically, you have to use all 5 of your senses if you want to properly evaluate a beer. Look at our beers in front of us. That's the first step. Take a look at it. What color is it? Hold it up to the light. Is it clear? Is it cloudy? Is it dark? Next, as you bring it up, you want to smell it. Really get your nose down in there. Do you just get a strong alcohol flavor, or do you get flowers and honey and things like that? Next, you want to take just the first sip and ask yourself, how does it feel in my mouth? Is it smooth? Is it astringent? Is it harsh? Next, you get to actually paying attention to the flavors. Some beers will taste of roasted coffee, bourbon, vanilla, all sorts of wonderful things that you can get out of a beer.
Okay, well, if my math is correct, I think that's only 4 senses that we use to taste our beer, and you said that there were 5, so...
Well, the only sense left is hearing, and you don't necessarily want to put the beer up to your ear and listen for it, but there is always my favorite part, and that's the toast.
Ah, Prost.
Prost.
I don't know about you guys at home, but all this talk about beer is starting to make me pretty thirsty. So for my next video, I'm going to bring in some of my O-girls, and we're going to actually taste the different German beers that we have here and let you know more about what makes those beers different and how they taste and smell and look and sound. So join us for that video.